I didn't scream when my brother poured champagne over my head in front of 200 people. I didn't even flinch. I just stood there, soaked, silent, and smiling. Because what no one in that ballroom knew was that my brother's perfect world was about to collapse. In less than 5 minutes, the laughter would stop, the bride would cry, and the man who tried to humiliate me would lose everything. My name is Hannah Carter, and this is the story of how I turned my brother's wedding into the day he met his own destruction. A year earlier, our parents passed away suddenly, leaving behind their most precious possession, a small but beautiful beach house on the Florida coast. It wasn't just a property. It was where we spent our summers, where Mom taught me how to swim, where Dad built bonfires and sang off-key. That house meant a peace to me. To my brother Ethan, it meant profit. Ethan had always been charming but greedy. He was the kind of man who could talk his way into any deal, even the bad ones. When he came to see me after the funeral, he wore an expensive suit and an even cheaper smile. "Hannah," he said smoothly, "I've got buyers lined up. Sign your half over to me, and I'll sell the beach house for $2 million. You'll get your share. Easy money." I looked him straight in the eye and said, "No, Ethan. That house is the last piece of our family I have left. It's not for sale." He laughed. "You always were sentimental. That's why you'll never be successful." Then he walked away like I was beneath him. For months, we didn't talk. I heard rumors he was starting a real estate company, living off borrowed money, pretending to be richer than he really was. Then one afternoon, an envelope arrived, an invitation to his wedding. He was marrying Madison Cooper, the daughter of a wealthy investor. I stared at the invitation for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but another part whispered, "Go, watch, wait." When the day came, the wedding looked like something out of a movie. White tents along the ocean, crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains. It probably cost more than my parents' house. And the craziest part, the venue was just a few miles from our old beach house. The universe has a wicked sense of humor. As I walked in, I could feel eyes on me. People whispered. Ethan had told everyone I'd refused to help the family by selling my share of the property. In his story, I was the jealous sister who stood in the way of his success. I didn't correct them. I just smiled, took a seat near the back, and waited. Dinner was elegant, the music soft, the laughter loud. Then Ethan grabbed the microphone. "I just want to make a special toast," he said, his grin sharp as glass. "To my dear sister Hannah, the one who refused to support me when I needed her most. Let's hope one day she learns what family really means." Guests gave polite, uncomfortable chuckles. Before I could even react, Ethan walked toward me with a bottle of champagne. I thought he was going to pour me a glass. Instead, he popped the cork and dumped the whole thing over my head. The room gasped. Champagne dripped from my hair and onto my dress. He laughed. "Come on, Hannah, lighten up. It's a party." I looked at him, my jaw tight, and said quietly, "You shouldn't have done that." He smirked and turned away. Basking in the laughter of his rich friends, he had no idea his nightmare had already begun. 2 weeks earlier, I'd received a phone call from a man named Daniel Reeves, a lawyer who had once handled my parents' estate. He told me something I could hardly believe. Ethan had forged my signature on legal documents, trying to sell the beach house without my permission. The fake sale had already gone through halfway. A buyer had wired Ethan $500,000 as a deposit. That meant Ethan had committed fraud, and the property was now frozen under investigation. Daniel said he was preparing legal action. I told him to take his time, and if possible, attend Ethan's wedding as my guest. He agreed. Now, as I stood dripping champagne, Daniel sat quietly at table 4, watching everything. Ethan was laughing. Guests were whispering. Madison, his bride, looked embarrassed, but tried to smile through it. Then Daniel stood up, adjusted his tie, and spoke in a firm, clear voice that silenced the room. "Ethan Carter," he said, "you might want to stop laughing." Every head turned. The band stopped playing. Daniel continued, "My name is Daniel Reeves. I'm the attorney representing the Carter estate. You're being served. for forgery and fraud involving the illegal sale of your late parents' property. The entire room froze. Ethan's smile vanished. "What the hell are you talking about?" he shouted. Daniel raised a folder in his hand. "You forged your sister's signature to sell her share of the beach house and accepted $500,000 from a private buyer. You also used part of that deposit to pay for this wedding. That means this event was financed with criminal funds." For a moment, no one moved. Then chaos erupted. Madison's father, a stern man in an expensive tuxedo, stood up and yelled, "You used my money to fund this?" Madison's face went pale. "Ethan, tell me this isn't true," he stammered, looking around desperately, but everyone was already backing away from him. I wiped the champagne from my face and stood up slowly. "You wanted to humiliate me, Ethan," I said softly, "but you did this to yourself." Security arrived. Daniel handed over documents to a pair of officers waiting near the door. Cameras flashed. Guests whispered behind their hands. Ethan lunged toward me, furious. "You set me up," he shouted. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, "No. You set yourself up the day you chose greed over family." Madison ripped off her veil and threw it at him. "I'm done," she cried. "You lied about everything." Her father turned away in disgust. The music stopped completely. Someone started recording on their phone, and within seconds the crowd scattered, murmuring, gossiping, leaving Ethan standing alone in the middle of the ballroom as security escorted him out. By the time I left that night, the wedding was officially canceled. The venue demanded payment within 24 hours, or they would press charges for fraud. Madison's family cut off all ties. Ethan's company collapsed within a week as investors pulled out. Every luxury car, every fake smile, every lie he'd built came crashing down like glass. A week later, I was sitting on the porch of the beach house, my beach house, watching the sunrise over the waves. The ocean smelled like salt and peace. The legal case had closed in my favor, confirming full ownership. Ethan had been charged with multiple counts of forgery and financial fraud. Last I heard, he'd moved out of state, living in a cheap apartment, avoiding everyone who once called him friend. As I sipped my coffee, I thought about that night, the laughter, the gasps, the look on his face when he realized the truth. Revenge doesn't always come with fire or fury. Sometimes it comes with patience, silence, and a single moment of exposure. When the wind picked up, I smiled and whispered to the ocean, "Mom, Dad, it's safe now." The house creaked softly, like it was breathing again. Ethan took everything for granted, but he forgot one thing. When you build your success on lies, even champagne can't wash the truth away. So yes, my brother tried to humiliate me at his wedding, but in the end, I was the one who walked away clean, soaked in champagne, but shining in victory, while he was left standing in the wreckage of his own making. Because sometimes, the sweetest revenge is simply letting karma do the talking.